Well, for more insight now on the impact homelessness has on crime, as well as other top crime topics, let's bring in the host of Nothing But the Truth podcast, criminal defense attorney David Bruno, along with Seattle Police Officers Guild President Mike Solon. Gentlemen, thank you both for coming on. Mike, to you first, because you know Seattle so well, and I want to kind of go back to what Dan Springer was talking about there. I mean, can you imagine how angry these people are in Seattle's Chinatown? Because, the county, King County, is trying to push hundreds of people who are mentally ill, they're drug addicted, into their neighborhoods. I mean, they've got a reason to fight.
It's absolutely tragic. And what this is, it's a bureaucratically created crisis, which in turn is now a public safety homeless issue that is almost biblical in nature. This is the problem. And just today, while they were rolling out this megaplex to the media, Asian independent journalist Jonathan Cho, who's incredible in Seattle, asking our politicians the hard questions, was barred from entry. So not only are they trying to hide this from the Asian community with that historic aspect of the CID, the International District, they won't even allow journalists of Asian descent to ask the hard-hitting questions. And to me, it's more politics being inserted to the public safety political discourse now on steroids. It's absolutely unconscionable to me. Yeah,
David, I asked Dan Springer, I said, do they have a way to fight this? And he said, well, really, like the old adage goes, it's tough to fight City Hall. Is that a fair assessment on Dan's part?
It is, and it goes to show us that elections have consequences. And when the citizens go to council and they make their pleas there, and council says, we've already voted on that. Well, guess what? Those councilmen and women, they're coming back on the election very shortly. And this is why it's important to get out to vote, to get these messages out for our political officials, because they have to be accountable when it's their time for an election. And that's really the only remedy that these individuals have if they can't get them to turn around like San Francisco and New York have already been able to do.
Yeah, you mentioned San Francisco. I want to go a little bit east of San Francisco now to Stockton, the Sacramento area, because California, it appears, has another serial killer. Of course, this is a state with a long list of serial killers. Police believe this goes back maybe 18 months. Where they believe a man, don't really have the evidence, they believe has shot 7 people, killing 6 of them. And I'm wondering, David, here, most victims are Hispanic, shot in dark places. Do you believe when they say they just don't really have any evidence about this at all right now? Your thoughts?
Well, we see some grainy video right there. This is a difficult case to put together. And law enforcement have to have a very careful balance between the release of information as well as keeping things tight in the investigation. Because oftentimes keeping things tight later plays out in interrogations when detectives start to get people to talk for a suspect or a target. And if they know things, it could easily help them prove cases. But at the same time, it doesn't look like much at this point that they have to give to the public, and it's going to be important.
Here's what they have. I want to play this from the Stockton Police Chief. His name is Stanley McFadden, and then we'll get your response on this, Mike.
By definition, these shootings are a series of killings. We do believe we could have potential serial killer. That's how we're going to treat it as such. We don't know if it's a person or persons. We have absolutely no evidence that connects a person or persons to any of these incidences.
Yeah, he's shooting one person, this is every couple of months here, Mike. Your thoughts?
Well, it's an issue that's rolled out, sadly, if you rewind 2 years ago, from the defund nonsense, which has spiked criminality across the nation. Not just in Stockton, obviously, but in Seattle. And the reality is cops care. But the bottom line is we don't have enough cops on the street to make the community feel safe. And you have these criminals running around killing people at random because they know that mostly police have become rendered ineffective because of the reform laws that were so naive in nature, a gross overcorrection from the tragic George Floyd murder. Here we are. Crime is through the roof. We can't recruit enough people, and our community feels less safe. And David is absolutely correct. We have to vote. This is how the silent majority turns this around. If not now, then I don't think we'll be able to turn this thing around. We have to act immediately.
I just want to play this because the University of Washington had a shooting. 4 students, they were injured, not killed, outside University of Washington, about a block from campus. And the president of the university said the following, quoting here, "No one should have to fear for their safety as they go about their daily lives. Gun violence is a public health crisis. We are committed to working with our partners." But it's not, Mike, just gun violence, right? It's across the board. All in universities, it is all going up. I got 15 seconds for each of you.
Yeah, Trace, you're absolutely correct. This is not an issue specifically with guns. This is a criminal crisis.
Right.
We're now upholding criminals versus upholding the reasonable people that need to wake up so we can save what is left of our cities and the nation on a public safety basis.
Yeah, final thoughts on this, David.
Got to protect the students. I mean, from the elementary schools to the high schools, the school shootings are up. Violence around the universities are up as well. It's one of the most important things for people looking at schools, and any university needs to protect their students.
If they said there was a massive crime increase around the university where my kids go to school, we would have some discussions about it. Thank you, gentlemen, both. We appreciate it. Coming up, could it be